All right, thank you. Game week, we're really excited. Just looking forward to the matchup with Sam Houston, and we're watching film. We've known this for a while now, but our focus has been after getting done with camp, middle of last week, has been shifted to preparing for Sam Houston and this season. But really well coached team. Looking at Casey Keeler, their head coach, it starts with him. He's if you know anything about football, he's one of the best coaches in college football, and so really excited to see him and meet him and talk to him in midfield. But as you watch film and you see the things that they've done as a program, he's been around for a long time and had success everywhere he's been. And so he's won national championships. That's what he does, and he won at Delaware national championship. Did the same thing at Sam Houston not long ago. I mean, believe it's 2021. So there's guys on that team that have won a national championship and have seen success. And I think last year they went through a transition where they knew they were going into an FBS, that they were going to be an FBS program, and with it not being an opportunity for them to play in the postseason, even in the playoffs. A lot of those guys are hungry to get to this year, and a good number of them redshirted, played their 4 games, and so we see on film, watched all the film, and just tons of athleticism and tons of talent, and really well coached, and so it's going to be an exciting game. We're excited to be here at home, and it's a home opener, and looking forward to this season. It's now come. I mean, it's we've been fielding these questions for a long time since even spring ball, and now that we're here, it's game week, and the guys are really excited, and we're ready to roll. So I'll take any questions you guys may have.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Jared Lloyd and then Mitch Harper.
Kalani, you always talk about wanting to get the most out of your guys and see, have your team put the best, their best on the field. Obviously, the first priority is winning the game this weekend. But how do you kind of, determine whether they've done that or not? What do you look at as far as their best? How do you kind of define that as you look at a performance?
No, our best means making sure that we're playing 60, of our best minutes on the field, and regardless of who's out there, it's not just the guys on the field; it's the coaches, it's everyone that's involved in the game, making sure that we're definitely operating at our best, and so that's the focus. I can't tell you what the result will be or what the final score will be, but we don't have a lot of these opportunities, and now that it's here with the first one, we need to make sure we take advantage of it.
You touched on this as well, but I'm curious about facing a team that did redshirt as many people as they did, have made the adjustments. What's it like preparing to get game one started against a team with, kind of a bunch of unknowns there?
Yeah, there are a lot of unknowns, but I think that every team can go through that. You wonder if they're going to do a lot of what they've done last year. They hired a new offensive coordinator, a veteran, and a guy that's called games before. So, there's this mindset of being ready for everything, but you have to have that mindset going into game one. Everyone's doing that. There'll always be a few surprises, and I think we saw that with week 0 games last weekend. So we have to be prepared for all of it, and teams could drop everything that they've done one week and do a whole completely different thing the next week. So it's for us, it's focusing on the fundamentals, making sure that we have that under control, and executing with our technique.
Kalani, no Talon Alfrey on the depth chart this week. Is he out for the season?
No, Talon is not out for the season, but highly doubtful for this weekend, which is why we adjusted the depth chart.
And Ethan Slade gets the nod at strong safety. What do you like about the Orem High product?
He's a playmaker. Ethan is a great student of the game, and I think he's been, not a surprise for me, but a surprise for Jay Hill, and he's really taken to Jay Hill's coaching and the mentoring that he's given him. That whole entire group, I feel really good about the safety group altogether. Obviously, it hurts not having Micah and then not having Talon, but the guys will pick up where where those guys left off, and from what I've seen from week 1 to where we're at now in fall camp, I feel really confident going into the season with Ethan and the others that are on the depth chart.
Okay, we'll have Kevin and then Jake Hatch.
Another depth chart question for you. JoJo Phillips and LJ Martin got on there. What kind of gives you confidence that the reason why they're on there right now, and how much of this playbook do they know this kind of early on in their career?
Well, first of all, they're tons of talent with those incoming freshmen and return missionaries. And so JoJo and LJ, with JoJo, the receiver, just he's going to be really, really good, and he gets better and better every day. So the sky's the limit for him and his abilities, and he's really tall, he's smooth, and he's athletic, and he's got tons of speed with great ball skills, so that works out for him. And Fessie's working with them, he's in a group of really talented receivers. And then you look at, we only do know how to do it one way, just the best get on the depth chart, and the best will be on the field. And, a lot of these freshmen are stepping up. LJ Martin's another one that he's going to see the field. He's got tons of talent, great vision. He's big, and he runs fast, and runs with a lot of power. So he'll be out there. And then I'm thinking of the other true freshmen, guys like Jackson Bowers will also be on the field. So there's a good amount of guys that we feel comfortable, and that's just, we're talking on the offensive side. There's a bunch of guys on the defensive side as well.
Go ahead,
Well, I
Jake.
wanted to ask you about your offensive line. A lot of oars listed in terms of guys potentially starting, etc. What do you make of that? Will that position group battle go until game time?
Yeah, we've been able to rotate guys in different positions, and we have, we feel like we have the flexibility of doing a lot of different lineups. But we'll settle in on something. We felt like there's a tendency of who we want out there the first part of the game, and then we have enough talent that we can rotate if we want to do that. It gives us a lot more opportunities to do what we want in certain situations. So I look at that as a bunch of guys that could possibly start. It's a good sign for us.
Also wanted to ask you, just in terms of now we're at game week, what are your chief concerns heading into your first game of the season?
As far as everything that we've planned, this has been a great camp and been a great preparation time for us. The only concerns that I have is just making sure that we get the final parts done, and that's really looking at all the details of what we can accomplish in the next week, and everybody's doing that. But as far as concerned, I'm not really concerned about it. I feel like we have the right guys that are here on the team and the players, and that we definitely have the right guys that are teaching them, that are making sure that they're taking care of all the details that'll eventually become a big part of the game.
Jay Drew, go ahead, ask a question.
Kalani, how do you feel about your special teams heading into week 1? And also, have you decided on a starting kicker yet? I know on the depth chart it has an or, but...
Yeah, we feel really good about our special teams group overall. And for me, it's because I feel really good about what Kelly Papinga's done as a special teams coordinator. I like what he's done with the DNs as well. So I think he's a perfect professional when it comes to special teams. He's able to put all those little pieces together, and he's picking the right parts for different pieces of our special teams, whether it's kickoff, punt return, kickoff return. He's doing a great job with that. In terms of the kickers, we feel really comfortable with both Will Farron and Matthias Dunn as place kickers, and obviously Ryan Rico is our punter. We'll probably, I think, looking into it, Papinga has a higher comfort level with both those guys, but when the time comes, he'll be the one that will announce that, as far as the starter goes.
All right, we have a couple questions from Jared Lloyd and Mitch Harper.
Kalani, you touched on this as well, but what challenges does this Sam Houston team present? What have you seen as you're preparing?
Well, other than the first part I mentioned, they're well coached. I keep stating this because they're making this transition into the FBS, and then they're well suited for it. The coach is a dynamic coach, and he's has so much experience. But it's not just that. If you look at the people that he's coached and the people that have come from, I mean, you guys all know I'm a football junkie when it comes to this stuff. So I become big fan of all these coaches that are around that we get to go against, and he's one of them, man. He knows how to get things done. And if you look at the people that have been alongside of him as they go through his coaching career, there's some great players and great coaches that have been with him. So that's a great sign of a great coach, and that's number one is the main factor is that he's been in big games before, and it's not like there's going to be anything brand new with him, and he'll make sure that his guys are ready and they're excited for this game. I'm pretty sure they are, just like we are, and but as far as the skill goes, they're a team that's in the state of Texas, so they have tons of talent. They can recruit, they can develop, and as we watch the film, you can see there's a lot of great talent there. So we're not taking anyone lightly. We want to make sure that we're prepared for this game, but at the same time, we respect what they've done and the things that they show on film, and then also that there's guys on that team that have a national championship ring. It's not long ago, a couple of years ago. So tons of respect. Looking forward to the matchup, and they do pose problems. We need to make sure that we take care of our assignments, and then I'll feel pretty good about it afterwards.
And a big picture question for you. We've kind of beaten it to death, but you're starting back in a conference. Does starting the season feel any different?
Not really. It's football. I think maybe you have to ask me that question when we get into the conference games. I know that everyone's talking about conference, but we have this game is not a conference game. This is a opening to the 2023 season. It is the opening game for us, obviously being involved in the Big 12 and being a partner with them, but it's also an opening game for Sam Houston and their entrance into FBS football. So there's a lot of energy and excitement going into this game. We need to make sure that we set the standard and that we keep that standard rolling. And as I mentioned, I give compliments to Sam Houston. This game is an interesting game, but we all can make predictions and things like that. But when it comes down to it, let's just get the ball in the air and let's play. I think that's what everybody's waiting for. I know Sam Houston's waiting for that, and so are we. And we're really excited to welcome them to Provo and to Love Alder Stadium.
Kalani, when you say set the standard, how much pressure is there for your program to not only make a good first impression this week, but in year one of this conference?
Yeah, I'm not really worried about making an impression for everyone else. I know what we can do in terms of how our team can be and the potential that we have. And I know the potential that we can perform in week one. I'd like to see us match that potential, and that's going to take everybody doing their part. All 123 guys on the team and all the coaches and support staff, everyone doing their part, and then using the fan base in the stadium, led by The Rock, our student section, and just creating that energy. We need to make sure we have this great momentum rolling throughout the game, and that we start and finish the game strong.
Kalani, also, what are your impressions of the two quarterbacks Sam Houston has? Sounds like it's going to be a toss-up going to Saturday night for them. What are there differences between the two, or are they kind of similar? What do you see?
Yeah, it poses more of the mystery around what are they going to do and what's their identity on offense. So we're not sure exactly what they're going to do, but obviously when you have you add more mystery to it by having two type of quarterbacks that can play it. Listen, their offensive coordinator has called games in the ACC for many years, so he knows how to get this team ready, and he'll know in week one it doesn't really matter. There's no film for us to really follow that it's all going to be kind of brand new. Jay Hill and his staff will have to get the defense ready, and whichever quarterback shows up, whether it's one or the other or both, we'll have to have an answer, and I think Jay's ready for that, and we'll see. That's the challenge, but a lot of athleticism and talent, like I said, throughout the team, and that doesn't stop when you're talking about quarterbacks.
Big Hatch, go ahead and ask your questions.
Yeah, Kalani, you guys, during your run as head coach, have not opened at home very often. You've done it twice before by my count. How important can it be to play at home in the season opener?
I mean, I'm glad whenever we can play at home, and so with all the excitement going into this season, I'm glad we are at home, and I'm excited to see our fans out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think everybody's waiting for this moment. I know there's a lot of fans that are excited about it, and you can only imagine how the players feel. It's a matter of us trying to keep our guys focused with the energy that's around them on performing, and that's the wonderful thing about college football. And comes game day, there's nothing like it. No matter what you try to do and how much you try to simulate it, all the scrimmages and the spring football games, all that stuff doesn't even come close. So once we get there, we'll be able to see how our guys perform. Luckily, we have a lot of veterans on this team that have done that, and for a lot of them, it'll be the first time in Provo playing in front of this crowd, and I think they could use that to help motivate them, and it'd be a huge positive for us.
Well, it's been over 720 days when you guys take the field against Sam Houston since you guys received that invite to the Big 12. Can you explain all of the work you guys have put in those nearly 2 years to get ready for this moment?
Yeah, probably hard to answer in one statement, but I could tell you that a lot of work went into it, and I know people focus on the team and the coaches and all that, but just the administration, the university overall, appreciate all their help and all the help that we receive from our fans and Cougar Nation, the support we have. So that's been it's been a fast 700 something days going into it. We're really excited, and now that it's here, I just want to hope everybody knows how much we appreciate them, whether they're working on campus, in our support staff and coaches, or the players. I just want to thank everybody. So now let's show our best gratitude by going out and performing and having some fun Saturday night.
Awesome. We'll have one more question from Mitch Harper.
Kalani, I'm just curious if you can take us back when initially this was going to be the Tennessee game, and then Sam Houston came into the mix last year. Can you take us through the process you and Tom, kind of went through last year to bring this game together, and how you ended up with getting Sam Houston?
That's probably a Tom answer. For me, I just told Tom to get the best schedule we can, and that this is a great opportunity for us to open up a talented team from state of Texas, and it's been an FCS powerhouse, is now entering the FBS ranks, and so we're really excited about the game, and I don't know how it came about. I'm just glad that it's here, and it doesn't matter who shows up. We need to make sure that we're performing at our best come week one, and that's Sam Houston, and we're honored to go against them in this game week one.
Okay, we'll have the last question be Jake Hatch.
Yeah, Kalani, I just wanted to ask you about Keaton Slovis. Has he been everything you expected him to be when you picked him up via the transfer portal?
He's more. I think we knew what he could do on the field. It's the things that you probably don't put on paper, can't see on film. It's the little things he does, his leadership. And then we saw that there's something special about him once we saw him interact with the team, and then we just let him do it. I mean, A-Rod's been able to put him in positions to be a leader. I think everyone talks about having great leaders, but unless you put him in a position to lead, they don't really have any kind of effect. And so he's been a great leader for us. Same with the others that are here. I can say this about the guys that are on our team. I've been really impressed with all the guys that have come here, the newcomers, and for me, really impressed with the veterans that were here when they arrived, and the guys that have been here throughout the years. They've been able to welcome them with open arms, and just kind of grabbed them and made them become part of the culture. I've been really proud of our team overall, and just really excited to see them play now.
Okay, thank you so much, Coach. That looks like that's all the questions for today. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kalani.
Okay, next up, we're going to have running back Aiden Robbins. Hi, Aiden. Thanks for being here today. How are you?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. We'll start with some questions from Jared Lloyd.
Hey, Aiden, we were just peppering Kalani with questions about the depth chart. We just saw it come out on the game notes this week. I just wondering what that's like as a player, as the depth chart gets set at different positions, and you kind of find out where you're at. What's that like from your perspective as those things get ironed out?
Yeah, I mean it's just football, man. I mean this is what we do for a living. A lot of us been doing this for a long time. It's it's a good thing, and then it's a wake up call for a lot of others. But I mean we truly believe in our coaches, and we believe they make the right decision with everything they do and pertaining to that.
Also, how excited are you to get to this week one and get ready to play at LaBelle Edwards Stadium?
Oh, I'm really excited. Just definitely a lot of emotions, and it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting on this moment since I arrived on campus in January. So.
Okay, we'll go Mitch and then Kevin.
Aiden, Kalani just told us a lot of the accolades of this Sam Houston team. The coach, as he called it, was one of the best coaches in college football. Has that messaging from the coaching staff been hit to the players where you guys are respecting this Sam Houston program?
Yeah, for sure. We don't overlook any opponent. We're very blessed and fortunate to be able to say we can line up against a team like that with the pedigree they have. Whether that's the FCS level or the FBS level, I mean, in my eyes, it's football. You still got to put the ball down and play. So, definitely we don't overlook any opponent. They have a lot of accolades to their name, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and we're really excited to get the lineup against those guys.
You've been at a couple different spots in your career. How does this BYU offensive line that you're running behind, stack up to some of the other O-lines you've been with throughout your college football career?
Yeah, for sure. We got a really talented and athletic line led by Coach Funk. He gets those guys together. We got some big boys up front. They can move, and, I'm excited to get behind them and run.
Kevin, go ahead.
I saw LJ Martin got into the depth chart at the running back spot. What have you kind of seen from him throughout fall camp, and does he remind you of anybody, just running-wise, that you've been around or that you look at?
Yeah, for sure. LJ's a fantastic football player and a great person, and I kind of feel like he's a little bit beyond his years. Being a true freshman and everything. He has a very high ceiling, and I'm not gonna say he necessarily reminds me anymore. He's his own person. He has his own running style, and it works for him. So I mean, but he's definitely gonna be a really good player. He's gonna contribute for us a lot this season.
We'll go Jake and then Jared next.
Yeah, Aiden, wanted to ask you just with regards to how you're feeling physically after a long training camp. How are you feeling going into the season?
I feel great.
Fair enough. I also just wanted to ask you, in terms of you ran for 1,000 yards a year ago, how confident are you can do that now at the Power 5 level after doing it at UNLV?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident in my abilities no matter what level it is. Like I said, this kind of goes back to what I just said. I mean, in my eyes, it's football. You still got to put the ball down and play, man. I played Power 5 teams last year. I went to a Power 5 school. I mean, it's no different to me, man. It's all football at the end of the day. FCS, FBS, Division II, it's still football.
And Kalani always talks about how he wants to see the team put 60 minutes together of their best football. Like, that's his goal every week, regardless of who the opponent is. As you look at the team, how will you kind of evaluate it? What do you look at as far as that, saying, okay, was this our best? How do you evaluate the performance?
Yeah, well, we know we have a very high ceiling. We have a very special team, and we're all very confident in what we can do. Obviously we haven't played another team yet. We've been going Navy versus White every day, and we're just excited to see put all the hard work and everything we've done since January. Put that product on the field on Saturday and just see how we do.
BYU in general, we've talked about this before, BYU in general hasn't gotten a lot of respect going this season. Do you guys play that card? Do you talk about it, or is it just that's irrelevant?
Yeah, we're definitely aware of, everything, but, we try not to pay attention to the outside noise. We're really just worried about ourselves, man, and, taking this thing day by day. We got Sam Houston on our plate right now. We're not worried about SUU. We're not worried about Arkansas. We're worried about Sam Houston right now, and just getting better as a team each and every day.
Okay, we've got a couple more questions from Jay Drew and then Jake Hatch.
Hayden, I'm just curious. They had this week 0 deal last weekend. Did you watch any college football? Are you the type of guy that kind of checks it out, or do you just tune it out until your game comes?
Oh, of course, I love football. Anytime football's on the television, I'm going to watch it. If I miss it, I'm going to find it on YouTube or something.
That's all I got.
Okay, go ahead, Jake.
I also wanted to ask you, mentioned that you've played at a Power 5 program before, obviously at Louisville. How excited are you to be back at this level, obviously competing with BYU going into the Big 12?
Yeah, I'm really excited, man. Like I said, I'm just excited to play ball. Even if BYU was still independent, I would still be just as excited. But I'm definitely excited more so for the opportunity to, play in the inaugural Big 12 season for BYU. It's the first time for everything. I'm just really appreciative of, being able to be on the team for the first time.
Has your BYU experience lived up to what you expected it to be going in?
It's exceeded expectations, honestly.
Awesome. Aiden, it looks like that's all the questions for today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aiden.
Yep.
All right, next up, we've got quarterback Keaton Slovis coming in. So if you've got questions for him, go ahead and raise your hand now. Hi, Keaton. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks so much for being here. See, anybody have any questions? There we go. All right, we'll go ahead and start with a couple questions from Kevin Reynolds and then Sean Walker.
Hey, Keaton, just wanted to ask, after fall camp, how did you come out health-wise, and how do you feel right now going into the season?
I feel great. Yeah, it's always nice for me. I don't get hit or anything, so pretty fortunate to wear that green jersey in practice, and feeling pretty good. Arms feeling great. I really got to shout out, our I don't even know their position, but I think they're the head of sports science or whatnot. But Dr. Main and Colby, they're so great, and Doc Main always gets me right and feeling great, even if something's a little off. So, and that's me being picky. So, really feeling great, and you can't say enough about our medical staff and what we're doing in the weight room.
We've talked a lot all summer, all through camp, even going back to the spring, I guess, about just the way that you've kind of fit into the system and the culture and learning the playbook under Coach Roderick and everything else. But how excited are you to be able to kind of put all of that into place, not just in week one, but in front of a home crowd, in front of a non-hostile environment, and kind of have BYU fans cheering for you, I guess, this time at LES?
Yeah, I'm super excited, and it's obviously felt great being here and being a part of the offense and the culture and the family. But I'm here to play in games, and and that's what's all come to fruition and going to happen on September 2nd. So and also just to be out there in front of fans in the stadium and have competition mean something, have an outcome. That's what competitors do, and that's why you play the game. So I know myself, and really I think all of our guys are super excited to finally get the opportunity. It feels like it's been a super long off season, so we're ready to get to the season.
Go ahead, Mitch, and then Jared.
Eden, a lot of people around the program have just said that it feels like you've been a guy that's been at BYU for years. Why is that, you think? What's made you feel like you've just been a great fit here?
It's a good question. I kind of ask myself that from time to time, but it just worked. And I think looking at my teammates and the coaching staff, and I feel like we're just so similar as people and our values and what we value in a competitive environment and football environment and off the field too. What kind of people are we off the field? What do we like to do, and what do we value? And do we value helping others? Do we value being selfless? And to me, I think all these people in the building and all my teammates are super selfless, They don't have too big of an ego. They work for the team, and they do things what I would consider and what they would probably consider as the right way. They're great people. And I think for me, that's kind of always what I wanted to be a part of culturally and in a football organization and just in life. So I think for me, it's been easy. Again, I didn't really expect to see that level of maturity and from everybody in the program. And again, I think it's allowed us to really work seamlessly and allowed me to fit in and feel comfortable being myself. It really has been a blessing.
Do you feel any pressure to deliver an impressive debut to Cougar fans at home in your first game as a BYU Cougar?
I think that's the other thing too. I think the way things are brought to me and the expectations that Coach Roderick and Kalani have for me is it's not beyond my capabilities, and it's just me doing my job. And I feel like to me, if I execute the offense and do what I'm supposed to do and capable of doing, it's going to kind of take care of itself. And obviously, I want to please the fan base and the coaches and the teammates around me. But just the way it's kind of been brought about and what is expected of me is super capable. And again, I think it's it's also been brought to my strengths. So I feel very confident to be able to do that.
Go ahead, Jared.
Keaton, we've been breaking down the depth chart that was released, and there's a mixture there of veteran Cougars with experience here, transfers like yourself that have come in from other places, and then newcomers. What's that like as that kind of gets situated across the board, particularly on the offense, and guys have kind of earned those opportunities? What's that like as you see that come together?
It's felt pretty good, and I think the thing too that's great is we have guys that earned that spot and got into the starting role, but by no means does it mean that the other guys that are sitting behind them are not capable of fulfilling a role too that's to our standard. And I think that's been the great thing is we have a ton of depth, but the guys who are are going to be playing out there on the first drive are have earned it, and again I have my full confidence in them to be able to do what they're going to do. But again, I think that's the beauty of it is we have a pretty deep team offensively, especially, and it makes you feel good going into a long season, especially in the Big 12.
What's it like? What advice do you give to the newcomers or the young guys that maybe haven't had this game one experience? What do you say to them as to get them ready and to be able to perform?
Again, I just don't overthink it. Just go play football. If we practice the way we've been practicing and play the way we've been playing, everything, the outcomes and stuff will take care of itself. I think sometimes, especially as a younger player, you can get caught up in the moment and trying to do too much and trying to do things differently than you would have been doing, and that might be good if you're not doing well on the practice field. But I think from seeing everything on the practice field that guys have been doing, the right things and living the right way. Again, I'd say to those guys, just keep doing what you're doing, play ball, and the rest will take care of itself.
Okay, we'll go Jake Hatch and then Jay Drew.
Yeah, Keaton, you've played in Lavelle Edwards Stadium before, but you were on an opposing team coming in. How different are you expecting the reception to be Saturday night?
I'm hoping it to be pretty good. Hopefully, wearing blue will be a lot more fun playing in Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and I think too, just having some practices there recently in the fall has made that feel more and more like home every time I play there. So just being more and more acquainted with the environment, and obviously having fans there, it's going to be exciting. And again, I'm super excited to put on the Royal and be on the right sideline this time.
I also wanted to ask you, just in terms of what you see from Sam Houston State defensively, what have you seen on film?
Yeah, they're a really talented team and really well-coached team. Obviously, it's their first year in FBS, but they've done really a great job, and I think statistically they're top 20 team in almost every category. So obviously they're new to the FBS regiment, but we got a really tough opponent ahead of us, and we have a ton of respect for them. But again, we just got to look at what plays and what offensive philosophy will work best against that, and what stuff will work against them. And every defense has answers to it, and that's kind of what the game plan's about. And again, I have a lot of confidence in Coach Rod and the rest of our offensive staff to figure it out.
Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, Keaton, I'm wondering if you checked out any of these week 0 games. The Trojans played, so I'm assuming you might have took a peek at them. But my second question would be, these new clock rules with the clock running after first downs, as a quarterback, will that affect you that much?
Yeah. That's the first part. I did watch some of it, of both the games, but I didn't watch a ton. I'm pretty good friends with Sam Hartman, so I want to watch him a little bit, and obviously with a lot of connections at USC, but obviously also get a couple days off this weekend, so wasn't, I was trying to enjoy my Saturday as well, and get some time away from ball. And then the clock, it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure, again, I don't think it'll have an impact on me directly in play by play, but it will be interesting to see at the end of the year, how that, has an effect on probably an extra possession or two less. But at the same point, it seems some of these games are pretty high scoring too. So maybe it won't have a big of an impact. I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out.
All right, Keaton, looks like that's all the questions for today. Thanks so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, our last interview is going to be linebacker Ben Bywater. Hi, Ben. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Just going to wait for some questions to pop up. Perfect. Let's start with Jared Lloyd.
Gotta still do the Zoom thing of pushing all the right buttons before we ask questions. Ben, we've been talking depth chart today. We looked at the depth chart, and from a defensive perspective, you guys have done so much substituting, and we've talked about that before. What's it like to see it solidify this year and kind of know who the guys are that are expected to get the majority of the opportunities on Saturday?
Yeah, it's for sure rewarding for some, and then obviously makes others hungry. So, them releasing the depth chart, nothing changes for us. Obviously, I believe in all those guys on the defensive side of the ball. I've seen them all make plays, but, I tip my hat to the guys who are, at the top of that depth chart because, they've worked hard, they've put in the work, and I'm just super excited to go out there with the boys and play this Saturday, right? You got a ball, and then if you are at the top of the depth chart, you got to perform, you got to produce, you got to stay up there, right? So your job's never safe. You got to produce, you got to perform, you got to be that player that you say you are. So, yeah, it's a good step in the right direction for us.
Also, what do you remember from your first game at Lavelle Edwards Stadium? And also, how does that translate in trying to help guys get prepared who are getting ready for their first opportunity?
Yeah, that's a great question. I remember my first start, my first time getting a lot of playing time and going out there. It was we were playing Arizona 2021 in Vegas, and surreal moment, man. It was one of those times, I called my dad, they gave me the nod that I was starting, man, and it was an emotional moment because it was just I had worked so hard for it, and I was super grateful for it, and I went out there and I was super confident in who I was and the football player that I was, and I ended up having a good game, and so that really catapulted my career, and so. I think guys going out there and getting that first exposure, being under the lights, playing, it's something that you can't replicate and you don't know till you get out there. So experience matters, but, I'm really excited for those guys going out, playing Sam Houston. They're going to be a good opponent, and then going out on Saturday and just getting those reps under your belt, playing in front of the crowd. It matters. It's going to help, down the stretch, giving you that confidence. So, yeah, I remember my experience, loved it, and I'm excited for other guys to go out there and have that same experience for themselves.
Awesome. Let's have some questions from Sean Walker, then Mitch Harper.
Yeah, Ben, a little bit of a two-part question here, but I think they're kind of related because over the last couple of years, really during all of independence, it's been pretty rare that BYU opens at home at the LES. How exciting is that to be able to have a week one under the lights at Lavelle Edwards Stadium? How much does that help you guys? And do you think that maybe helps something of a new look defense for you guys kind of be ready for prime time, as they say?
Yes, sir. That's a great question as well. It's exciting because college football's starting. You know how it is, right? You're always watching the games, especially when early September after camp. But I think definitely it's huge for us. Just playing Sam Houston, playing SUU before we get into Big 12 play. We respect all of our opponents the same, but it will be nice to be at home. You're not traveling. You're kind of in your element, and then really obviously we got a new D staff, we got a new coordinator, and so he's gonna be calling new plays. So kind of getting some of the wiggles out and being here at home and doing it in a comfortable environment, it will for sure benefit us in the long run before Big 12 play.
Ben, you brought up that Arizona game in 2021. That was a game where there was so much unknowns with Arizona offensively. Same can be said this week with Sam Houston. What are the challenges from your perspective facing a team that has so many unknowns and really not knowing what they're going to be running this week?
You got to when you're playing a team like that and you don't know exactly what they're going to run, they got a new OC, right? Personnel, who's going to be back. You don't got a bunch of film on them. You just got to stick to what you know, right? We've been going against our offense. Our offense does a great job throwing the whole kitchen sink at us. So if we do our job, we do our 1/11th. We're out there all 11 hats to the ball. I think we'll be just fine. But yeah, it's a great question. You really got to be prepared for everything. So it'll be interesting, how we go about it Saturday, but I'm really confident in our abilities, and I'm confident in, our coaches, and they put us in the best position to succeed. So, yeah, it's going to be dope. I'm excited, and yeah, it's a great question as well.
What's different about a game week now as a Big 12 member compared to years past navigating independence?
Yeah, being in the Big 12, it's exciting just because you got so much more to play for. There's obviously being independent was great, but you can play for conference championship. You're competing, you're watching week to week, who's winning, who's losing. So it's something that we're really excited for. There's been a lot of anticipation. There's been a lot of talk, and so I'm ready to just get out there and go do it. Just go do the thing, So. But obviously, week one we got to beat Sam Houston. That's our goal. We got to respect every opponent the same. They're good. They got a lot of playmakers. We've been watching film on them. So, yeah, don't overlook any opponent this Saturday. We're all eyes and we're all ears on Sam Houston.
All right, go ahead, Kevin, and then Jay Drew.
Yeah, after going through a full fall camp, I'm curious if you think that this is a more complex defense or a less complex defense just from the linebacker position than kind of what you played under last year, just from getting to know the playbook, just from that aspect.
Definitely more complex, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff you got to know. You got to be able to, run stunts. You got to the whole back end. You got to know, who's dropping where, who's doing what. But it's good. It stretches you. It makes you a better football player. And I'm excited. It was a big fall camp. We practiced a lot. We practiced hard. We did a lot of full pads. We hit a bunch. So. But I'm really confident. I'm grateful for it. It's made me more confident going into game one. But, yeah, it's a big defense. There's a lot of different, moving parts in it. So you really got to be on top of your game if you want to be successful in it. And so that's really stacking day by day, brick by brick. You're not going to be perfect at it on day one. But, we've come a long way from day one of fall camp till now. And, we still got 5 more days to prepare. So I'm excited.
And you mentioned, how physical this camp was, maybe compared to past year.
Yeah, we definitely put the pads on this year. We had a lot of days, a lot of full pads, a lot of scrimmages, a lot of tackling, and it's been good. We've came out pretty, scratch free. We haven't had a lot of injuries, but a lot of guys are licking their wounds right now, and we've been in the training room, so we'll be good to go come Saturday.
Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, Ben, last week, BYU and all the church schools, I guess, came out with a new little honor code tweak, which allows, I guess, you guys to grow your hair long, all BYU students to grow your hair out. You're smiling, so you know what's coming, I guess. How did that resonate in the locker room, if it did at all?
Yeah, I mean, obviously people were talking about it. But, there hasn't been a bunch of clarifications as far as just, specific rules and whatnot. It doesn't change much for us. Obviously being on the football team, you got to be putting your best foot forward and, a good representative of the church and of Jesus Christ. So, obviously, if you know me, I like to have a little fun with the hair, but, I'm not, no one's going crazy. You still got to keep it under wraps, keep it under control. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the near future. But yeah, they definitely came out with it. People, talked about it a little bit, but I haven't heard much else as far as specifics. But for us, it's all about just sticking to the game plan and don't let hair, don't let other stuff get in the way. Keep football the main thing. That's what we're doing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I'm excited, but yeah. Just trying to. I'm not going crazy. The hair will not be down to my ankles, so just know that. But it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. Hopefully, it gives the people a little bit more swag here and there. But it's each their own. It's a great question, though. Jay, great question, Jay.
Okay, we'll have a couple more questions from Jake Hatch.
Yeah, Ben, first off, has this had a new NIL sponsorship? What do we got going on here?
It's not. It's a little liquid death though. I mean, it's just water, You know, buy water. Got to support some water companies, but I think they're Utah based. I'm just rocking it. Yeah, liquid death. They just do like canned water, but they should be. You know, hey, if you're seeing this liquid death, please hook the boy up.
Also, I just wanted to ask you, in terms of preparing for potentially two different quarterbacks who, according to reports, have different skill sets, how difficult is that for you guys on defense?
That it definitely throws a twist in things, 100%. You know, what we've seen is they do like to run the ball and they do like to get their quarterbacks involved in the run game. So at that point, you got to just know, hey, you know, what quarterback's in the game, you know, what do they like to do with certain personnel? And then we'll just adjust and go from there, right? There's so many different variables that get thrown at you during the game and mid-game. You're making adjustments here and there. So you got to be prepared for everything and then go from there once the game starts.
Is it feeling real that the Big 12 era is actually here?
It's crazy. It's actually wild. I mean, it hasn't actually hit me, but it is surreal. I think when we kick off versus Arkansas, it'll really hit. You know, those week to week, you got to be on top of your A game. Going against big teams week after week after week, it'll matter. You know, your nutrition, your recovery, all that stuff. So it's gonna be big time for us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, Ben. Looks like that's all the questions that we have today.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate y'all.